there's going to be noise in the background because my granddaughter's over and my daughter's looking after the two children, currently making muffins, where we film some of the more Brune cooking. So you're going to hear that in the background. But that's live, is it not? And hang on, I've got to do the thumbnail. Box full of goodies. So yesterday, the wife and I were going round. We took Daniel out to go and see some donkeys at the sanctuary. Took our carrots and whatever. It's actually not a very nice day, but today it's beautiful sunshine. But a bit of a cold wind coming up from the south. On the way home, we drove through a little village called Snell's Beach. We go through that place on a regular basis, and I saw a sign for books. I actually saw it going out to the donkey sanctuary. Came back and thought, look, why don't we go and pop in? Didn't expect anything. It was obviously someone's house, and it was. It was a 2-level house in which the lower part was the garage, opened for people just to come in and look at the books. Unbelievable. Better than most second-hand bookstores. Very unusual. So this was an old couple who really, I think, coming towards the end of their life and sending off books to other people to purchase and love. And other things, not just books. These, for instance, which I'll show in a moment. And astounding. And Jo, the missus, she went out and got 4 cut books, which is all to do with a trend of cutting out sugar as much as possible. But anyway, Daniel, he got a load of stuff. He got some Dr. Seuss books. One was Green Ham. I've got to put my H's. Green Ham and Eggs. Loves it. And what was the other one? ABC. And then an old 1976 fully colorized comic about Mickey Mouse. Unbelievable. Now, I used to work in publishing in the 90s, and we used to charge a fortune just for spot red colour. This thing, anyway. Look at these. Never heard of Gosir. This is something I need to do a bit of research on. Perhaps I should have done it before I started recording. But there's 3 here. In fact, I think I'm missing episode 1. So inside, just beautiful. Look at that. It's perfect for all ages, supposedly. Spectacular art, and that's great, and a great story. Gotta love, or I think more love needs to be put this way. But look how dramatic the artwork is. I also have to admit that this is going up. It will be sandwiched between episodes I've already recorded. So probably it's just gone out is the tramcar ride round Christchurch, which was 2 or 3 months back in October. I'd kept it, I put some others out, and time moved on. I segued in other rambles around about Christmas, so it got shunted. But anyway, it's coming in. But I think, if I'm correct, I'm going to do one on... Anyway, that's not the point. My point is, I've just changed the style of the thumbnails for the books. Make it a bit more dynamic. Because when I did the 2024 books started and unfinished, I showed the type of thumbnails I was using. And it just struck me, they're a bit bland. So they've changed. And because I have an art degree, should have known that earlier, I just love the dynamicness. The dynamicness of the imagery. Beautiful. So they're a find. Never heard of them. And I better start putting things back before I carry on, because otherwise they'll all get dog-eared too quickly. Saw this one, The Jail of Newgate. And I must admit, I just started reading it yesterday afternoon. And there's a great thing here. It's actually in the beginning. I've already started to butcher it. Book murderer. For over 800 years, Newgate was the grimy axle around which British society slowly twisted. And there's famous names that were held in this now defunct prison. Robin Hood, Captain Kidd, Ben Jonson, Christopher Marlowe, James McLean, not sure who that is. And this is what I liked. While London's theatres came and went, the jail endured as London's unofficial stage, From the peasants' revolt to the Great Fire, it was at Newgate that England's greatest dramas unfolded. Brilliant. Lots of nice illustrations. Look at that. Woodcuts, love them. I've actually tried to do that on AI. It's very difficult. For some reason, it doesn't pick up woodcuts very well, or the style of them, but I love them. But what I really love about the book, Jail, the old style, this would have been a relatively recent purchase for this old couple, was getting rid of their books. Literally hundreds of books they're getting rid of. And it's about a Kiwi guy called Charlie. I think he won numerous distinctions. The VC, the Victoria Cross, which is the greatest medal in the English-speaking world, bar America, for valour, the Victoria Cross. And somebody, I think, years after the event is trying to trace his lifestyle and whatever. And I just think, yep, military history is something I definitely will get back into. Now, I've got to be careful. Okay, I'm showing you the back. What William Shirer talked about in World War II. Unfortunately, I don't have a problem showing you what's on the front cover. It shows the swastika. But I know that will get it blocked even now in Germany. So, yeah, that's probably better. It's The Rise and Fall of the Third Reich. Now, I've read this before, loved it. I've actually multiple readings of this. He used to do, if I remember, radio talks or dispatches to a newspaper or something back in the States. I'll have to remind myself. Very detailed, and he talks about the coming towards the war. So in the past, I've done Homer and the Iliad, and up till now, I've done a couple of 3 episodes, deep dives. But I think what I'm going to do with this one is do similar, because otherwise it's going to take too long to get through all these big books. But I'm going to do it as like I've read 10, 15 pages or a chapter and just report back on the chapter what I've found. So that one is great, and it's got a wonderful, provocative front cover because, again, it shows, like I said, the oldest religious symbol in the world, the swastika. But I can't show it to the screen. They had this, the Rubaiyat, and obviously there's a lot of information in here. But when you start getting into it, stunning artwork. And it's one of those books that they just really give you a big font to make the words more noticeable and pronounced. Come, fill the cup, and in the fire of spring your winter garment of repentance fling. The bird of time has but a little way to flutter, and the bird is on the wing. This is another one, because they're not going to come out in any order. Because of my abiding love in Second World War, the propaganda on both sides is something that really appeals to me, especially the Russian side and the British. And again, this is going to be very well illustrated throughout. I mean, look at this. This is in French, but it's the Wehrmacht. The soldiers of Germany. Unbelievable. What we got here? Gulliver's Travels. One of the greatest satires ever written about modern, or then, British politics. The big enders with their eggs and the little enders, and it caused a war. This is well illustrated. One of those books that, when I first read it as a younger man, and I saw an interview with an old English politician called Michael Foot, who was the most dishevelled man you can imagine. He was an MP for Plymouth somewhere, where I lived before I came out here to New Zealand. And he was really talking about this in depth and how it was really misunderstood at the time. But those in the know knew that the writer, the author, Jonathan Swift, was really putting up a mirror and casting aspersions against the people in charge. Saw this, I had to get it. And it's got a foreword by the great man himself, Terry Pratchett. Again, slightly dated because when it was printed, but some lovely artwork, as you can see. and I'll be back. What is life? I mean, that alone. Great film. Although the middle section sags a bit for me. I'm not going to pronounce this in Danish, or was it Swedish? I can't remember. Det sjunde inseglet, the seventh seal. And I apologise for anybody who knows how I should have pronounced it and realise I got it completely arse about. Now, this one, okay. I loved it as a child. I love the artwork. I've often had memories going back. If I ever hear Nutwood or Rupert, I always think of these and the beautiful artwork. Stunning. Rupert meets the genie. Rupert learns to fly. Rupert marks the spot, and so on. They're individual, one-off little things, because it was from the Daily Express. I've got to do one on that, I know. Okay, some more down here. I've already done Spike Milligan, Puckoon, that's recorded. May not be out by the time you see this, it's coming up, but this is one I definitely... Yes, I can show that. Adolf Hitler, My Part in His Downfall. So funny. I remember to this day, I think it's in this one, he talks about being in North Africa in the war and he can't sleep and he has to dig a hole to put his elbow in and stuff like that. Amazing. What staggers me with this one is how the film was banned in the UK until the mid-90s, probably late 90s, which brings up a whole raft of questions you can ask about censorship. But Anthony Burgess, A Clockwork Orange, I want to see if the Moloko is in there. I've definitely read the first one here I'm going to show. And I think if that's the one that's based or set in Jamaica, but I thought it wasn't the second one. But anyway, they're old books. Casino Royale. Again, this says a lot about post-war Britain and the fact that this guy who is a spy, he goes to France. It's not necessarily, well, it's considered an exotic place by the British at the time, throwing away money and stuff like that. And if I remember, he shows Vesper that when you have caviar, you should have boiled eggs with it or something like that. But anyway, Casino Royale. And I think that one's a bit more brutal. I think they feed someone, Lex Leiter, is it? To the sharks. Now, what appealed to this next one was originally the artwork. I just love that style of artwork. Of course, I know Jack Kerouac, but I've never read the Dharma Bombs. What a great title. I put on my flannel shirt and new socks and underwear and my jeans and packed the rucksack tight and slung it on and went in San Francisco that night just to get the feel of walking around the city. Long sentence. Leonard Cohen, Book of Longing. And again, it's just these little, are they aphorisms or it's just jottings? And a mate of mine loves Leonard Cohen. Helene. So I'm just going to go through this. And here's my grandson just popping in. Hello. Have you finished cooking?
Making apple muffins.
Apple muffins. Ooh. Are they done?
Not yet.
All right. So how long do we have to wait?
Just another 10 minutes.
10 minutes, okay. So 3 more. I think this one, when I saw it, instantly I thought about a couple of booktube channels that are talking about, well, how would I describe it? Slightly on the edge of most books that are covered in the tube. Sigmund Freud, Civilization and its Discontents. This is the winter of our discontent. Made glorious summer by the son of York. So there you go. Freud, why not? Now that's how to sell a book. Let the ruling classes tremble at a communistic revolution. Communist Manifesto, Karl Marx. Read it countless times, even did a piece on it once to air. But I think it's definitely worth a reread, see if time has changed my perception of things and what makes this so popular and important to history. And the last one, Day of the Triffids. which I'm interested very much to see if it's as I remember it. I've probably not read this for about 30 years now, probably longer. And I remember the premise. I think, if I'm correct, the protagonist is in hospital, his eyes are covered, he wakes up or something, has the bandage off, and everything's changed. Great opening. Also, the fact that he gives the introduction chapter as the end begins. When a day that you happen to know is Wednesday starts off by sounding like Sunday, there is something seriously wrong somewhere. I'm not putting this up as a whole, because it is, but then it's not. It's really a praise of all the people that for years and years have kept books, but for whatever reason, for personal reasons, time catches up, people are moving on. They decide to get rid of them into like yard sales, in this case in their lower garage. And it just gives people such as myself and others and yourself opportunities to go out and buy books you normally wouldn't. And the finds here are just wonderful. Just wanted to share that with everyone. Ta-ta for now.